This is a Zen Buddhist meditation, carefully handcrafted for anyone struggling with insomnia, trying to fall asleep fast, calm the mind, enter deep rest, or simply feel whole again. No experience needed, no effort, no special skills. Just lie back, listen, and breathe. Woven from timeless koans and grounded in modern neuroscience, this practice helps you not only fall asleep fast, but more importantly, to wake up inside into a space of deep inner peace that stays with you long after the night has passed. Recent clinical studies now show how mindfulness and Buddhist contemplation ease insomnia, deactivate the default mode network, the part of your brain linked to stress and racing thoughts, and shift your nervous system into deep parasympathetic rest. So if your mind has been spinning, your chest tight, or your soul quietly aching, this may be the moment your healing begins. You're in the right place. In the next 3 hours, you'll enter a space where Zen stories are not just listened to, but felt in the body, each one dissolving anxiety and opening the doorway to peace. Speech balloon, and if something already moved in you, would you share gently where in the world you're listening from tonight? Your presence is a light. Every comment creates a thread of connection, a healing web that stretches across time zones and hearts. You're not just a listener. You're part of a sanctuary. So now, close your eyes and allow the world to fade. Nothing to fix, nothing to chase. The world slows down for you now. Just breathe. And listen as we begin with a simple truth hidden in a Zen koan, the bamboo that watched itself grow. A lesson in change, in surrender, and in remembering you were never meant to be rigid. You were made to bend and rest. The bamboo that watched itself grow. What watches you as you change, yet never holds you still. Imagine, just for a moment, that you are standing at the edge of a quiet pond as dusk settles like a soft blanket over the world. A single bamboo stalk sways in the evening air, its long, elegant shadow stretching across the water, trembling with each breath of wind. The sky is a canvas of violet and rose, and the world is hushed, listening. This bamboo has stood in this place for a long, long time. It is not a story of great battles or heroic deeds. It is a story of stillness, of watching, of being. This is the story of the bamboo that watched itself grow, and it holds a secret for the part of you that is so tired of striving. Once in a forgotten corner of a terraced hillside, a single bamboo shoot pushed its way through the dark, rich soil. It was alone, but it was not lonely. The sun was its companion, the rain its teacher, the wind its dance partner. As it grew, it began to notice the subtle, constant rhythm of change. It watched with a quiet and impartial impartial curiosity as its own leaves unfurled, their vibrant green a celebration of life. It felt the sun warm them, felt the dew collect on their edges in the cool mornings. It did not cling to this vibrant green, for it knew, with a wisdom that needed no words, that this was just one part of the dance. Then, as the seasons turned, it watched those same leaves turn to gold, then a brittle brown. It felt them loosen their hold, one by one, and drift away on the autumn wind, twirling in a final, graceful farewell before settling on the earth below. The bamboo felt no sadness, no sense of loss. It simply observed. This too, it seemed to whisper to the wind. This is also me. It watched its own stalk grow taller, section by section, each new ring a testament to another season of sun and rain. It learned that its strength was not in rigidity. When the fierce winds of the monsoon swept across the hillside, the bamboo did not fight. It did not stand stiff and proud, daring the storm to break it. Instead, it bowed. It bent so low its tip sometimes brushed the very ground it grew from, yielding completely to the force of the wind. And because it yielded, it did not break. When the storm passed, it rose again, serene and unharmed, glistening with rain in the returning sun. It learned that its roots deepened not by clinging desperately to the earth, but by yielding to the rain's rhythm. The water would soften the soil, and the roots would expand effortlessly into the new space that was offered. It understood that holding on too tightly meant stagnation, while letting go meant growth. One evening, as the moon cast its silver light upon the hillside, the bamboo whispered to itself, a thought that was more of a feeling, a deep, resonant hum that vibrated through its entire being. I am not my leaves, for they come and go. I am not my stalk, for it is always growing, always changing. I am not my roots, for they are hidden and shift with the soil. I am not the green of summer, nor the gold of autumn. A deep sigh of release seemed to pass through it. I am the growing. I am the passing. I am the silent witness to it all. I am the space in which all this change happens. I am the moment between. This is the principle of impermanence. It is the first great truth, the gateway to peace. It whispers that all things arise and pass away. Your thoughts, your feelings, your triumphs, your sorrows, your body, your relationships, your world. Everything is in constant, graceful, unending flow. We suffer because we try to build a dam in this river. We try to hold onto the moments of joy, terrified they will slip through our fingers. We try to push away the moments of pain, convinced they will last forever. We build our identity on things that are by their very nature, as fleeting as the bamboo's summer leaves, our job title, our youth, our health, a particular relationship. And when these things inevitably change, as they must, we feel as though we are breaking. We feel as if we are dying. But the bamboo teaches us a different way. It invites us to shift our identity from the things that happen to the awareness in which they happen. You are not the anxiety that tightens your chest. You are the loving awareness that notices the anxiety. You are not the fleeting joy of a compliment. You are the quiet space that holds that joy. You are not the story of your past, with all its scars and victories. You are the silent, spacious presence that is reading that story right now. This is a profound relief. It means you don't have to carry the weight of being a fixed, solid thing. You are not a statue. You are a river. You are not a photograph. You are a dance. Your task is not to hold on, but to learn to sway, to bend with the winds of change, knowing that your true strength lies in your flexibility. To let go of the leaves of yesterday, knowing that this release creates the space for new growth. Think of the pressure you feel to be consistent, to be the same person you were yesterday, 5 years ago. This pressure is the source of so much exhaustion, so much burnout. You are trying to be a stone when you are made of water. The bamboo's wisdom is an invitation to put down this impossible task. It gives you permission to evolve, to contradict yourself, to be a beginner again and again. Perhaps you are facing a change right now, a change in your career, your health, a relationship, or just in how you see yourself. There is a part of you that is afraid, that is clinging to the branch, like the leaf fearing the fall. This is natural. It is human. But the bamboo offers another perspective. It asks, what if this change is not an ending, but a transformation? What if this falling is actually a kind of flying? What if this letting go is the only way to truly grow? In the world of modern psychology, there is a concept known as the default mode network, DMN. This is the part of your brain that is active when you are not focused on a task. It's the part that replays memories, worries about the future, and constructs your sense of self, your ego. It is the voice that tells the story of me. When this network is overactive, it can lead to anxiety, depression, and rumination, that feeling of being stuck in a loop of negative thoughts. The ancient wisdom of impermanence is a powerful antidote to an overactive DMN. By gently observing your thoughts and feelings as passing events, like clouds in the sky or leaves on the wind, you stop over-identifying with them. You unhook yourself from the relentless storytelling of the ego. You shift from being the main character, tossed about by the drama, to being the calm, compassionate audience This shift doesn't eliminate the story, but it changes your relationship to it. It brings peace. It brings stillness. And yet, you wonder, as you watch this bamboo swaying in the fading light, what holds all this passing together? If you are not your thoughts, not your body, not your story, then what are you? What is this silent, witnessing presence? The parable of the mirror that refused to reflect will unfold this mystery, where what you see is not what you are, and what you are cannot be seen. It whispers of a truth beyond form, a profound emptiness that is also a profound fullness. But for now, just stay here with the bamboo. Pause now. Trace the breath that rises and falls in you. Feel it enter, cool and fresh. Feel it leave, warm and soft. This breath is the rhythm of impermanence, happening right here in your own body. With every inhale, a new moment is born. With every exhale, it passes away. You don't have to do anything. It just happens. What changes as you breathe? Can you feel the subtle shift in your body, the gentle rise and fall of your chest or belly? What remains? Can you sense the quiet awareness that is watching this breath, this constant, gentle tide? Let the bamboos sway guide you. In this quiet moment, with no judgment, name one thing you have been clinging to. It could be a belief about yourself, a regret from the past, a worry about the future, a role you feel you must play. You don't have to analyze it or fix it. Just see it. Acknowledge it with kindness. And now, with your next exhale, imagine releasing your grip. See it as a single golden leaf letting go of its branch. Watch it drift, twirl, and float gently down, 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 until it rests softly on the rich, dark earth, ready to become part of something new. Feel the lightness in the space it leaves behind. This is not emptiness as in a lack. This is emptiness as in possibility, as in freedom. You are the space. You are the stillness. You are the growing. Everything is okay. Let go, breathe. As the bamboo bows, a river hums nearby, forgetting its own name. The river that forgot its name. If you lost your name, would you still be you? Let the image of the bamboo soften and dissolve, and allow your awareness to drift, following the sound of that gentle humming. You find yourself standing on the bank of a river, carving its path through a wide, ancient valley. The moon is full and high in the night sky, and its light spills over the water, turning it into a flowing ribbon of liquid silver. The The air is cool and smells of damp earth and distant pines. The only sound is the water's voice, a constant, soothing murmur, as if it is whispering secrets it no longer remembers. This is the river that forgot its name, and its story is for the part of you that feels trapped by your own identity. There was a river that began as a tiny, anonymous trickle high in the snow-capped mountains. As it tumbled down the rocky slopes, the mountain goats knew it as the stream of dawn, for its waters caught the first light of the morning. As it flowed into the green foothills, the villagers who built their homes by its banks called it Mother's Vein, for it nourished their crops and their children. They wrote poems to it, sang songs about it, and wove its identity into the fabric of their lives. Further on, where it carved through a deep and winding canyon, the solitary mystics who meditated in the caves called it the Serpent's Path, for it twisted and turned like a great, wise snake, revealing and concealing its secrets. The river heard all these names. For a time, it believed them. I am the stream of dawn, it would think as the sun rose. I am Mother's Vein, it would feel as it watered the fields. I am the Serpent's Path, it would whisper as it navigated the dark canyon. It tried to be all of them, to live up to the expectations that came with each name. It felt a subtle pressure to be bright and hopeful in the morning, nurturing and dependable in the valley, and mysterious and profound in the canyon. But one day, a mischievous otter, slick and playful, was tumbling in its currents. The otter didn't call the river by any name. It simply rejoiced in the flow, the coolness, the movement. It surrendered to the river's energy, becoming one with it in a joyful dance. Watching the otter, the river felt a ripple of laughter run through its entire length. From the mountain peaks to the vast delta where it met the sea. What is a name? It laughed, a sound like 1,000 tiny pebbles rolling over one another. A name is a vessel, a cup, but I am the water that fills it and overflows. A name is a label on a jar, but I am the uncontainable substance within. In that moment of pure, flowing laughter, it forgot all its names. It was no longer the stream of dawn, or Mother's Vein, or the Serpent's Path. It was simply river. And in that forgetting, it discovered its true nature. It looked down and saw the smooth, gray pebbles on its bed. I am in you, it murmured, for I have carried you and shaped you. It looked up and saw the reflection of the moon on its surface. I am in you, it sighed, for I hold your light. It felt the swift, silvery fish darting through its currents. I am in you, it sang, for I am the world you breathe. It saw itself in the thirsty roots of the willow tree on its bank, in the cloud that was once its own evaporated water, in the deer that bent its graceful neck to drink. It realized it was none of these things individually, yet it was intimately connected to all of them. It was a flow, a process, a relationship. It was not a noun, but a verb. Its identity was not a fixed point, but an ever-changing, flowing illusion. This is the principle of non-self, or anatta. It is one of the most misunderstood, yet most liberating, teachings in Buddhist psychology. It doesn't mean that you do not exist. It means you do not exist as a separate, permanent, independent entity. The self that you believe you are, this solid, continuous me, that you work so hard to protect, promote, and define, is an illusion. It is a beautiful, useful, and necessary illusion for navigating the world, but an illusion nonetheless. Like the river, you have been given many names. There is your birth name, a label that has gathered stories and expectations around it. Then there are the other names: parent, child, friend, employee, artist, leader, failure, success. You have a name for your personality. I am an anxious person. I am a strong person. I am not good enough. We cling to these names, these identities. We build walls around them, defending them fiercely. We believe that if we lose a name, the name of healthy person, employed person, person in a relationship, we will lose ourselves. This clinging is the root of immense suffering. When you believe I am my job, and you lose that job, you feel a sense of annihilation. When you believe I am a calm person, and you feel a surge of anger, you judge yourself as a fraud. You are trying to hold the flowing water of your being in the fixed cup of a name. The river's wisdom invites you to gently loosen your grip on these names. It asks you to see yourself not as a statue, but as a dynamic process. You are not a fixed personality. You are a collection of ever-changing thoughts, feelings, sensations, and memories, all flowing together. You are not the single, static image in a photograph. You are the entire album, a vast collection of moments, each one different from the last. Think about the person you were 10 years ago. Are you the same? Your cells have been replaced. Your thoughts have changed. Your beliefs have evolved. You are connected to that person, just as the river in the valley is connected to the trickle in the mountains. But you are not identical. You are a process of becoming. Recognizing this is not frightening, it is freeing. It means you are not trapped by your past. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are not condemned to repeat your patterns forever. At any moment, you can allow the river of your being to flow in a new direction. This understanding is a profound act of self-compassion. When you stop identifying with a negative thought or a difficult emotion, you can hold it with more kindness. Instead of saying, I am sad, you can learn to say, sadness is flowing through me right now. Instead of I am a failure, you can observe the thought of failure is present. This subtle shift in language creates a space between you and your experience. In that space, there is peace. In that space, you can breathe. From a neuroscientific perspective, our sense of a solid, continuous self is largely constructed by the brain's narrative-making circuits, like the DMN we spoke of earlier. This autobiographical self strings together memories and projects future scenarios to create a coherent story of me. But this story is a simplification. It leaves out so much. It edits and revises constantly. The practice of observing non-self is a way of seeing beyond this edited story. It's a way of experiencing the raw data of your existence, the direct, moment-to-moment flow of sensations, sounds, and thoughts, without constantly filtering it through the question, what does this say about me? When you can do this, the mind becomes quiet, spacious, and deeply restful. You are no longer defending a fragile identity. You are simply resting in the vast, open awareness that you truly are. But what binds this flow, this ever-changing river of self, to the world it touches? How does it connect to the banks it shapes and the sky it reflects? The tale of the stone that held the sky will reveal how we carry what we cannot see and how it carries us in return. It will show us that our fluid, flowing nature does not exist in a vacuum, but is held in a vast, invisible web of connection. For now, however, stay with the river. Feel its cool, silvery flow within you. Breathe softly. Imagine your name, the one you use every day. See it written in the air before you. See the weight of the stories, the expectations, the history attached to it. Now imagine that name as a ripple on the surface of this moonlit river. Watch as the letters gently distort, shimmer, and then dissolve into the current. Let it go, just for this moment. Let go of the name anxious. Let go of the name striving. Let go of the name tired. Let go of every label you have ever given yourself or accepted from others. Who are you now? In this moment of pure, flowing presence, without a name to define you, what is here? Perhaps there is just the feeling of your breath, the sensation of coolness or warmth, the distant sound of the world outside. There is just this, being. Whisper a new truth to the water within you, a truth without words, a feeling of boundless, flowing peace. You are not the name, you are the river, and you are finally, endlessly free to flow. The river's song fades, and a stone hums under the weight of the sky. the stone that held the sky. What holds you up when you feel you might fall? As the murmuring of the river softens into silence, your awareness is drawn upward, away from the flowing water, to a high, wind-swept cliff overlooking the valley. There, at the very edge, sits a single weathered stone. It is immense, ancient, its surface a map of time etched by centuries of wind and rain. Moss grows in its crevices like green velvet. Above it, the vast, star-dusted sky stretches into infinity. Clouds as thin as silk drift past, unaware that they seem to rest upon the stone's profound stillness. This is the stone that held the sky, and its story is for the part of you that believes it must carry its burdens all alone. For eons, this stone sat on the cliff, and in its slow, silent, stony consciousness, it held a single, profound belief. It held up the sky. It felt the immense, invisible weight of the blue dome of day and the dark, heavy blanket of night. It saw itself as the anchor of the world, the single point of stability in a universe of fleeting clouds and shifting stars. This belief gave it a great sense of purpose, but also a great and terrible burden. It could never relax, never shift, never crumble even a little. It had to be eternally strong, eternally vigilant. If I were to fail, it thought, the heavens would fall. The sun and moon would tumble into the valley. All would be lost. So it stood, rigid and unyielding, through scorching summers and freezing winters. Birds would land upon it, their light, fleeting presence a stark contrast to its own immense gravity. They would sing their songs and then fly away, free and unburdened. The stone felt a deep, secret envy for their lightness. The rains would come, washing its surface, polishing it smooth, and the stone would think, the sky is weeping, and I must be strong enough to bear its tears. The winds would howl around it, singing ancient songs of the earth, and the stone would think, the sky is sighing, and I must hold firm against its sorrow. It saw itself as utterly separate. It was the stone. Everything else was not stone. The earth beneath it was merely a pedestal for its great work. The tree whose roots grew around its base was a minor detail. The sun that warmed it was a distant fire it had to support. It was a lonely existence, filled with a grim, heroic pride. One day, after a long and bitter winter, a tiny fissure appeared on its surface. It was almost invisible, a hairline crack. The stone was filled with terror. This is the end, it thought. I am failing. The sky will fall. It braced itself, trying with all its might to hold itself together, to deny the crack's existence. But the spring rains came, and water seeped into the tiny opening. At night, The water froze, expanded, and pushed the crack a fraction wider. The stone felt a deep, shuddering agony, a sense of its very identity breaking apart. The crack grew day by day, until one morning, a piece of the stone, no bigger than a bird's egg, flaked away and tumbled down the cliff face. The stone held its breath, waiting for the sky to shatter. But nothing happened. The sun rose as it always did. The clouds drifted lazily by. The sky remained exactly where it was. In its shock and confusion, the stone's awareness shifted. For the first time, it looked not up, but down and around. Through the new opening, it could see more clearly than ever before the intricate network of roots from the ancient pine tree next to it. It saw how these roots had grown around and under it, embracing it, holding it to the cliff face with a quiet, persistent strength. It was not just sitting on the earth was actively holding it. It felt the wind, not as a sigh of sorrow it had to resist, but as a force that was also holding it, pressing it against the mountainside, a steady, invisible hand. It felt the warmth of the sun, not as a distant fire, but as an energy that settled deep within its core, strengthening it, holding its very molecules together. It suddenly understood that the rain which it thought was weakening, it was also the lifeblood for the roots that held it fast. A slow, profound realization dawned in its ancient consciousness, a thought that took a century to fully form. I was never holding the sky alone. A second thought followed, even more revolutionary. I was never holding the sky at all. The sky holds itself. And I am being held. A great, silent murmur of relief passed through it. We hold each other, it understood. The roots, the earth, the wind, the sun, we are all holding each other. And together we hold all. The burden it had carried for millennia simply dissolved. It was still a stone on a cliff. Its purpose had not changed, but its experience of it was transformed from one of tense, lonely effort into one of relaxed, interconnected belonging. It was no longer a hero, it was a participant, and for the first time, it felt peace. This is the principle of interdependence, or pratityasamutpada. It is the deep, radical truth that nothing, absolutely nothing, exists in isolation. Everything arises in relationship to everything else. You are not a solitary stone holding up the sky of your life. You are part of a vast, intricate, and supportive web of connection. So many of us live like the stone in the first part of its story. We feel we are solely responsible for our successes and our failures. We carry the weight of our work, our family, our finances, our emotional well-being as a solitary, crushing burden. This is especially true in modern cultures that champion rugged individualism and self-sufficiency. We are taught that asking for help is a sign of weakness, that needing others is a liability. So we walk through our lives with a tense, heroic pride, secretly exhausted, terrified of the day a crack might appear. This belief is the source of so much modern suffering: burnout, chronic anxiety, and a profound sense of loneliness. You might be in a crowded room, or a busy family, or a successful company, and still feel utterly alone with your burden, believing, if I stop holding all this up, everything will fall apart. You are the stone, believing you hold up the sky, envious of the birds who fly so freely, unaware of the immense, invisible network that is already supporting you. Who are the roots of the pine tree in your life? It might be the friend who listens without judgment, the partner who makes you a cup of tea without being asked, the stranger who smiles at you on the street. It might be the author of a book that made you feel understood, or the musician whose song became the soundtrack to your healing. It is the farmer who grew the food you ate today, the engineer who designed the network that allows you to hear these words, the generations of ancestors whose lives made your own possible. You are being held in 1,000 ways you do not see. From a somatic perspective, our nervous systems are designed for this interdependence. Dr. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory explains how our sense of safety and well-being is deeply connected to social engagement. When we feel safe with others, our ventral vagal complex is activated, which calms our heart rate, eases our breathing, and allows us to rest and connect. This is called co-regulation. It is the biological reality of the stone's realization. We hold each other, feeling isolated and believing you have to do it all alone, keeps your nervous system in a state of chronic fight or flight, the sympathetic state of the burdened stone. Recognizing and leaning into your web of support is not a psychological trick. It is a physiological necessity for healing and deep sleep. It is allowing your body to believe the truth. You are safe. You are held. But what happens when you let go of holding not just the sky, but everything? What happens when the very thing you are clinging to is your own pain, believing it is the only thing that makes you strong? The story of the lotus that bloomed in mud will show us how you rise by sinking, how you find purity by embracing the mess, how you bloom not in spite of your suffering, but because of it. It reveals a paradoxical strength that is born not from holding on, but from holding with compassion. Rest here for a moment with the stone. Feel its immense, quiet peace. Feel the burden lifting from your own shoulders. Rest here, Feel the ground beneath you. Whether you are sitting or lying down, truly feel it. Feel the chair, the bed, the floor actively holding you. You don't have to hold yourself up. You are being supported. Now bring to mind the faces, the names, the presences of those who hold you. Who or what is part of your invisible web? Name them silently in your heart. Acknowledge them. The friend who checked in, the pet whose quiet presence is a comfort, the tree outside your window, the memory of a loved one's kindness. Let a wave of quiet gratitude ripple outward from your heart. It is not a debt you have to repay. It is simply a recognition of the truth. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You are being held. Let this feeling of being held be a soft place for you to land. Let it be the firm ground that allows you to finally, deeply rest. The stone softens, and a leaf falls, fearless, to the earth below. The leaf that fell without fear. What would you release if you knew you could not fail? The image of the great, peaceful stone dissolves, and your awareness becomes small, light, and delicate. You are now looking at a single, perfect leaf on the branch of a maple tree in the heart of a vast, silent forest. It is late autumn. The air is crisp and clean, carrying the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. The sunlight, low and golden, filters through the canopy, illuminating this one leaf. It is a brilliant, fiery gold, a small flame trembling on a branch, kissed by autumn's breeze, perfectly and utterly ready to leap into the unknown. This is the leaf that fell without fear, and its story is for the part of you that is clinging to the branch, terrified of the inevitable fall. For its whole life, this leaf had known only the branch. The branch was its world, its home, its source of identity. It drew life from the tree through the branch. It danced in the summer breezes with its sibling leaves on the branch. Its entire existence was defined by its connection. I am a leaf on this tree, on this branch. As summer faded, it watched as some of its neighbors turned brown at the edges, shriveled, and were torn away by early winds. A tremor of fear ran through it. What happens when you let go? Where do you go? Who are you without the branch? It wondered. It saw the forest floor below, a chaotic jumble of fallen comrades. It looked like an ending, a disappearance. It clung tighter. When the wind blew, it resisted, holding on with all its might. Its connection to the branch, which once felt so life-giving, now felt like a desperate, tiring effort. It was exhausting, this constant clinging. One day, a gentle, swirling breeze, the one that carries the secrets of the seasons, whispered to it. The wind didn't pull or tear. It simply asked, "Little one, why do you hold on so tightly?" The holding is what hurts. The leaf, trembling, confessed its fear. "I don't know who I am without this branch. I am afraid of the fall. I am afraid of being nothing." The wind, which had seen countless leaves fall for countless autumns, swirled around it with a soft, compassionate sigh. It replied, "You think you are the leaf, but you have forgotten. You are also the tree. You are also the forest. The branch is not your source. It is your path for a season. The fall is not an end. It is a return. You are not falling away from life. You are falling into it." The wind continued its gentle song. And who are you? You are not just the clinging. You are the letting go. You are not just the being on the branch. You are the twirling, the floating, the dancing in the air. You are the landing, the soft touch as you meet the earth. You are the becoming, as you merge with the soil and prepare to feed the roots that will create new leaves next spring. You are the whole journey. Why would you choose to experience only one tiny part of it? A profound stillness settled over the leaf. The wind's words resonated with a truth deeper than its fear. It looked down at the forest floor again, but this time it did not see an end. It saw a homecoming. It saw a vast, soft bed of reds and golds and browns waiting to embrace it. It saw the beginning of a new chapter in its story. It stopped clinging. It relaxed its tiny stem. It surrendered its resistance. And with a final, gentle exhale of trust, it simply let go. And the wind was right. The fall was not terrifying. It was exhilarating. For a few perfect, timeless moments, it was flying. It danced and swirled and spiraled, a silent waltz with the air. It saw the forest from 100 different angles, a kaleidoscope of light and shadow. It was more alive in that moment of falling than it had ever been in its entire summer of clinging. And when it landed, it was not with a crash, but with a soft, gentle kiss. It rested on the earth, one more note in the great, beautiful symphony of the forest. It felt itself becoming one with the rich, dark soil, and a deep, profound joy spread through it. It had not lost itself. It had found the rest of itself. This is the principle of letting go. It is the practice of releasing your attachment to outcomes, to identities, to the way you think things should be. Freedom comes not from gaining more, but from releasing our desperate grip on what we already have, or what we think we need. Your mind is the leaf, clinging to the branch. The branch is whatever you are attached to right now. It might be an attachment to being in control, an attachment to a specific person's approval, an attachment to a plan for your life that is no longer serving you, an attachment to an old hurt, an old anger that you carry like a shield, believing it protects you, when in reality it is just weighing you down. Like the leaf, you believe that letting go is a terrifying fall into nothingness. If I let go of my anxiety, what will motivate me to be careful? If I let go of this grief, does it mean I didn't love them enough? If I let go of my anger, does it mean what they did was okay? If I let go of control, won't everything spiral into chaos? These are the fears of the leaf that knows only the branch. The story invites you to trust the wisdom of the wind. Letting go is not passive resignation. It is an active, courageous, and deeply intelligent act of surrender. It is recognizing that your clinging is causing more pain than the thing you are clinging to. It is the understanding that the fall is part of the flight. In psychology, this relates to the concept of experiential avoidance. This is our tendency to avoid or suppress unwanted internal experiences, like thoughts, feelings, and memories. We cling to distraction, to busyness, to control, to numb ourselves from the discomfort of the fall. But research shows that the more we try to avoid these feelings, the more they control us. They become the central organizing principle of our lives. Letting go, in the tradition of acceptance and commitment therapy act, is about making space for these feelings. It's about allowing them to be there, like the leaf allowing the wind to be there, without resistance. When you stop fighting with your anxiety, it no longer has power over you. When you allow grief to move through you, it can transform into compassion and wisdom. You are not the feeling. You are the vast, open sky in which the feeling can dance and fall and finally rest. But what is left when you release even your attachment to yourself? When you let go of the story of me who is falling, the fable of the mirror that refused to reflect whispers to you, promising a truth that cannot be grasped, only witnessed. It points to a profound stillness that is revealed only when we stop trying to see our own reflection in the chaos of life. It's a deeper kind of letting go, a release into the very nature of being itself. Breathe out. As you exhale, open your palms, whether they are resting on your lap or by your sides. Imagine your hands are open, receptive, and soft. What weight have you been carrying in your clenched fists? What are you clinging to so tightly? Is it a worry, a resentment, a fear? You don't need to name it if you don't want to. just feel its energetic weight. The tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your stomach. This is the exhaustion of clinging. Now, with your next slow, long exhale, I want you to picture that weight as a single, golden leaf resting in your open palm. And as you breathe out, imagine you are the wind, gently lifting it from your hand. Watch it float away. See it twirl and dance, becoming smaller and smaller, lighter and lighter, until it dissolves into the vast, quiet air. Feel the freedom in your empty hands. Feel the release in your shoulders. There is nothing to hold onto, nothing to defend. In this moment, everything is okay. You are safe in the falling. You are safe in the landing. You are safe. The leaf settles, and a mirror glints, refusing to show what passes before it. Not generations journeyed to this, not the temple, to gaze into the flickering legendary candle in the mirror. They had heard it was a mirror of truth. Would at it show them, there would show them innermost themselves. They would arrive, hope and expectation, and kneel before it. A proud warrior came, seeking to see his courage reflected. He stared into the misty surface, but saw no glint of armor, no determined jaw. He saw only the silent, unmoving mist. "Show me my strength," he demanded. The mirror remained silent. Frustrated, he left, believing the mirror was broken. A beautiful courtesan came, her silks rustling in the quiet hall. She sought to see her famed beauty, the face that had captivated so many. She leaned in close, expecting to see her perfectly painted lips, her dark, enchanting eyes. But the mirror showed her nothing of her form. It offered back only its own quiet, depthless haze. "Show me my beauty," she pleaded. The mirror remained empty. She left in tears, feeling unseen and worthless. A wealthy merchant came, his robes heavy with gold thread. He sought to see his success, the power and influence he had worked so hard to accumulate. He stared into the mirror, looking for the reflection of a man of consequence. He saw nothing. "Show me myself," he demanded, his voice echoing in the hall. The mirror replied, not in words, but in its profound, unyielding emptiness. "I show you nothing," it seemed to say, "and in this nothing all is found." The merchant, accustomed to things that could be bought and measured, saw no value in this nothingness, and left, angry and confused. Day after day, year after year, people came seeking a reflection of who they thought they were, their strength, their beauty, their intelligence, their piety. And one by one, they all left disappointed, for the mirror refused to play their game. It would not confirm the stories they told themselves. It would would not validate the identities they had so carefully constructed. One day, a young monk named Koan, who had lived in the temple his whole life, sweeping the floors and tending the gardens, decided to sit before the mirror. He had seen the pilgrims come and go, had heard their frustrated demands and their sorrowful sighs. He had no such ambitions. He did not come seeking to see his piety or his wisdom. He came with a simple, open curiosity. He was tired of his own mind, his own thoughts that endlessly defined and judged him. I am a good monk. I am a bad monk. My meditation was deep today. My mind was a storm today. He was exhausted by this inner commentary. So he just sat. He did not ask the mirror for anything. He did not expect to see anything. He emptied himself of all seeking. He simply sat before the misty surface, breathing in, breathing out. He sat for an hour, then another. He sat all through the day and into the night, as the moonlight replaced the sunlight in the quiet hall. As he sat, empty of expectation, his own mind began to grow as still and silent as the mirror before him. The endless chatter of me and mine began to fade. The need to be somebody, to have a reflection, dissolved. And then something extraordinary happened. As he looked into the mirror's unreflective surface, he did not see himself. Instead, he saw the pillar behind him, arising within the mist. He saw the flickering flame of the candle, glowing softly in the haze. He saw the moonbeam, a slash of silver in the gray. He even saw the reflection of a single tear rolling down his own cheek, a tear of profound release. He saw the entire room, the entire world, arise not on the mirror's surface, but within its silent, empty depths. He finally understood. The mirror did not refuse to reflect. It refused to reflect a separate self. It refused to validate the illusion that he was a solid, independent entity. By reflecting nothing, it made space to hold everything. Its emptiness was not a lack, it was a boundless capacity. And he realized that his own true nature was not the reflection he sought, but the mirror itself, the silent, empty, aware space in which the whole world arises and passes away. This is the principle of emptiness, or sunyata. It is the heart of Zen wisdom. It teaches that form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. This doesn't mean that things don't exist. It means they don't exist with the solid, independent, permanent reality we project onto them. Everything is like a reflection in Koan's mirror. It appears. It is vivid and real, but it has no separate, inherent substance. It is made of emptiness, of potential, of interconnectedness. You are, in your deepest nature, this mirror. Your life is a constant stream of pilgrims coming to you, demanding a reflection. Your thoughts come. Am I smart enough? Am I doing this right? And you try to reflect back an image of intelligence and competence. Your emotions come, a wave of sadness, a flash of anger, and you try to reflect back an image of being calm and in control. Society comes, demanding you reflect its values of success, beauty, and productivity. This is utterly exhausting. You are spending all your energy trying to polish the surface, to create and maintain 1,000 different reflections for 1,000 different visitors. The spiritual practice of recognizing emptiness is the simple, radical act of refusing to reflect. It is the decision to stop trying to be somebody and to simply rest in the spaciousness of being. When you feel anxious, the practice is not to try and reflect an image of calm. The practice is to be the silent, mirror-like awareness in which the sensations of anxiety can arise and pass away without judgment. When a critical thought appears, you are a failure. The practice is not to argue with it or try to reflect a counter-image of success. The practice is to let the thought be a cloud in the vast, empty sky of your mind. You are the sky, not the cloud. You are the mirror, not the fleeting, fearful image. This is what true healing from within looks like. It's not about replacing negative self-images with positive ones. That is still the game of reflections. True healing is about realizing you are the mirror itself. Your inherent worth is not dependent on what you reflect. Your value is in your very nature as open, aware, and spacious consciousness. You are worthy because you are. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to see it reflected back at you. You can lay down the immense burden of seeking validation. And yet, what stirs in this profound emptiness? Is it just a cold void? The lesson from the wind that sang of silence will guide us to hear what cannot be spoken, to feel the subtle, living pulse within the stillness. It will show us that this emptiness is not dead, but alive, with a quiet, vibrant peace that is the source of all sound, all life. Close your eyes, or if they are already closed, let your inner gaze soften. Imagine within your own heart a mirror just like the one in the temple. Its surface is quiet, misty, and still. What reflections have you been demanding from it today? The reflection of being a good parent, a productive worker, a patient person, a spiritual person. See these demands, these needs for a certain reflection, as weary pilgrims arriving at the temple. Greet them with kindness, but do not let them trouble the mirror. Let the mirror within you refuse to show them what they want to see. Let it refuse to confirm your stories about yourself, whether good or bad. Let it just be still, empty, silent. Smile at its silence. Feel the profound relief in not having to be anyone, not having to prove anything, not having to achieve a certain reflection. Let this silent, empty mirror be your true home. Rest in its spaciousness. It can hold your pain. It can hold your joy. It can hold your confusion. It can hold your deepest peace. It holds it all without being stained or burdened by any of it. This is your true nature. Rest here, in the emptiness that holds all things. The mirror dims, and a wind rises, singing of what cannot be said. The wind that sang of silence. Can you hear the silence beneath your thoughts? The image of the misty mirror fades, but its feeling of spacious emptiness remains. Into this space, a new sensation arises, a gentle movement of air, a soft caress against your skin. Your awareness drifts out of the temple, back into the vast, open landscapes of the world. You are now the wind, a formless, invisible presence sweeping through a deep, red rock canyon at twilight. The cliffs, carved by millennia of your own passage, rise up like silent, sleeping giants. You carry no sound with you, no howl, no whistle, no roar. You carry only the promise of stillness, a deep, resonant quiet that brushes against the ancient stone and echoes in the vastness of the desert sky. This is the wind that sang of silence, and its story is for the restless part of your mind that is always seeking, always striving, and has forgotten the peace of its own true home. There was a wind that was born restless. From the first moment it stirred, it was filled with a deep, aching desire to find the perfect song. It believed its purpose was to create a sound so beautiful, so profound, that the whole world would stop to listen. So its journey began. It rushed to the great forests of the north and howled through the pines, creating a mighty, mournful roar. It was a powerful sound, full of raw energy, but it was not the song. It left the wind feeling empty and agitated. It flew out over the vast, churning ocean and learned to shriek and wail, whipping the waves into a furious, crashing crescendo. It was a song of immense power and untamed passion, but still, it was not the song it was looking for. The sound was too loud, too chaotic. It offered no peace. It traveled to the bustling cities of men and learned to whistle through the cracks in buildings, to rattle window panes, and to carry the cacophony of a million lives. It was a complex, busy and intricate sound, but it was just noise. It grated on the wind's spirit, leaving it more restless than ever. It tried everything. It whispered through fields of wheat, creating a soft, rustling sigh. It hummed over lonely mountaintops. It cried through abandoned ruins. It learned every sound the world had to offer, from the loudest roar to the softest murmur. Yet, its heart remained unsatisfied. It was a masterful musician of noise, but it had not found its true song. Utterly exhausted, defeated, and empty of all ambition, the wind drifted aimlessly until it found itself in a deep, forgotten canyon, just as the last light of day was fading. It had no energy left to howl or whistle or roar. It had no desire left to seek. It simply stopped. For the first time in its long existence, the wind became completely still. And in that stillness, in the utter absence of its own striving, it began to hear. It heard the slow, patient breathing of the stone cliffs. It heard the gentle pull of the moon on the planet. It heard the quiet, determined growing of a single, hardy flower in a rock crevice. And underneath all of that, it heard something else. It was a sound that was not a sound, a song with no notes. It was the deep, resonant, profound hum of pure silence. It was not an empty silence, not an absence of noise. It was a rich, full, and vibrant silence, pregnant with all the potential of the universe. It was the canvas upon which all other sounds were painted. It was the source. A great wave of peace washed over the wind, a release so profound it felt like a homecoming. This, it sighed, a breath so quiet it was part of the silence itself. This is the song I was seeking, and it was here all along, underneath my own noise. From that day on, the wind still danced and moved, but it no longer tried to create a song. Instead, it learned to carry the silence with it. Its movement became a song of silence, a reminder to the restless world of the peace that lies at the heart of all things. This is the principle of stillness. True, lasting peace is not found by adding more to your life, more experiences, more knowledge, more achievements. It is found by subtracting. It is discovered in the quiet pauses, in the silent spaces between your thoughts, in the stillness that lies at the very core of your being. Your mind is the restless wind. It believes it must find the perfect song. It howls with anxiety about the future. It roars with anger about the past. It whistles with a constant stream of judgments, plans, and commentaries. It is always moving, always seeking, always making noise, convinced that peace is something it must create or find out there, somewhere else. This is why so many of our attempts at relaxation fail. We try to replace bad thoughts with good thoughts. We try to drown out the noise of our anxiety with the noise of a distraction, a movie, a podcast, a busy project. We are like the wind, trying to replace one sound with another, one noise with a slightly more pleasant noise. But this only leads to more exhaustion. The wisdom of the wind that sang of silence is a radical invitation. Stop, just for a moment. Stop trying to fix your mind. Stop trying to calm your thoughts. Stop struggling. Instead, can you become aware of the silence that is already here, underneath the noise? It is here right now. Can you feel it? It is in the space between the end of my last word and the beginning of my next. It is in the quiet of the room around you, the silence that is holding all the small, ambient sounds. It is in the pause at the top of your inhale and the pause at the bottom of your exhale. This stillness is not something you have to create. It is your fundamental nature. It is the silent, aware consciousness in which the storm of your thoughts is happening. You have been so focused on the storm, you have forgotten that you are the vast, silent, unshakable sky. The practice is to gently, lovingly shift your attention from the noise to the silence that holds the noise. In neuroscience, this practice of resting in stillness has profound effects. It helps to calm the amygdala, the brain's fear center. It reduces the production of stress hormones like cortisol. It allows the prefrontal cortex, the seat of your wisdom and clarity, to come back online. When you intentionally rest in stillness, you are signaling to your entire nervous system on a deep biological level that you are safe. You are telling it that the emergency is over. The striving can cease. The search is done. This is how you make yourself fall asleep, not by force, but by surrender, by returning to the silence that is your home. But what grows in the quiet you so often fear? If you truly allow yourself to be still, what might emerge from that silence? The parable of the lotus that bloomed in mud will show you how beauty and compassion arise where you least expect them, nurtured by the very darkness and silence you have tried to avoid. It promises that your suffering is not a mistake, but fertile ground for your own blossoming. Breathe in silence. As you inhale, don't just inhale air. Inhale the quiet of the room. Let it fill your lungs, your chest, your entire body. As you exhale, let your thoughts drift away like clouds. Don't push them. Don't fight them. Just let them be, and gently return your attention to the vast, quiet space in which they float. What song does the stillness sing to you? Listen, it may not be with your ears. It is a feeling, a sense of peace, a sense of coming home, a quiet knowing that right here, right now, in this moment, everything is okay. Let this silence carry you deeper and deeper into rest, into peace, into sleep. The wind stills, and a lotus rises, blooming where no light should reach. The lotus that bloomed in mud. What beauty can grow from your deepest pain? The feeling of the vast, silent wind softens and concentrates, drawing your awareness down, down, down into the dark, murky depths of a still and forgotten pond. It is a place the sun does not seem to reach. The water is thick with silt and decay, the stuff of endings and forgotten things. It is not a place you would look for beauty. And yet, from the heart of this darkness, a single, slender stem rises, and at the surface of the water, a magnificent lotus flower unfurls. Its petals are a pure, luminous white, glowing softly in the twilight, each one perfect and untouched by the mud from which it came. This is the lotus that bloomed in mud, and its story is for the part of you that is afraid of your own darkness, your own suffering, your own mud. A lotus seed lay dormant for a long time in the cold, thick mud at the bottom of a swamp. It was dark and heavy. All around it was the slow decay of fallen leaves and forgotten life. It could have been a place of despair. The seed felt the weight of the mud, the chill of the deep water, the absence of light. Why here? It wondered in its silent, seed-like way. Why was I born into this darkness, this sorrow? It could feel the memory of the sun, a distant, impossible dream. It longed for the light, for the warmth, for the clear, open air. It could have stayed there, a hard, closed knot of longing and resentment, cursing the mud that was its home. But one day, a subtle shift happened within it. It stopped resisting the mud. It stopped fighting its circumstances. It began, instead, to listen to it. It felt the mud not as a prison, but as a source of immense, rich, and potent nourishment. This decay, this sorrow, this darkness, it was not just an obstacle, it was food. It was the very substance it needed to grow. And so, it began to draw that nourishment in. It sent a tiny root deeper into the heart of the mud, embracing it, accepting it. And with the strength it drew from that embrace, it sent a tiny, tender shoot upward, questing for the unseen light. journey was long and difficult. It had to push through the heavy, resistant water, but it did not see the journey as a struggle. It saw it as a transformation. The mud it had absorbed was being transmuted, changed from heavy sorrow into the resilient strength of its own stem. Finally, its bud broke the surface of the water. It felt the warmth of the sun for the first time, the caress of the breeze, and it opened. It unfurled its petals, one by one, revealing a heart of pure, radiant gold. Its beauty was breathtaking, made all the more luminous by the contrast with the murky water below. Its fragrance, sweet and subtle, drifted over the swamp, and it seemed to ease the swamp's ancient sorrow, offering a scent of hope and transformation. One evening, the lotus looked at its own reflection in the water and saw the dark mud clinging to its roots far below. It felt a wave of profound gratitude. It understood that it had not bloomed in spite of the mud. It had bloomed because of it. The mud was not its enemy. It was its teacher, its foundation, its secret strength. The lotus looked up at the stars and asked again, "Why here?" And this time, it heard the answer in its own heart, a voice that was also the voice of the mud itself. Because you were needed here. Because your light is most beautiful in the dark. Because compassion is the flower that grows only in the soil of suffering. This is the principle of compassion. Not pity, not sorrow for another, but the deep, courageous wisdom that is born from embracing suffering, your own and others, without turning away. It is the understanding that wisdom and beauty bloom in the very places we have been taught to fear and avoid. Our pain, our failures, our imperfections, our mud. We all have a swamp inside us. It is the place where we hide our grief, our shame, our fear, our unacceptable feelings. We spend so much of our lives trying to live only at the surface, in the clear air, pretending the mud isn't there. We try to build our lives on a foundation of pure positivity, success, and light. We use spiritual practice to try and get rid of our darkness, to transcend it, to escape it. This is a painful and futile effort. It is like a lotus trying to bloom in the air, without roots, without nourishment. It cannot be done. The story of the lotus is a revolutionary invitation to turn toward your mud, to gently and with great kindness acknowledge the parts of you that you have rejected, the anxiety you hate, the grief you think you should be over by now, the deep-seated feeling of not being good enough. These things are your mud, and like the lotus, you have a choice. You can resent the mud, fight it, and remain a hard, closed seed, or you can begin to see it as the fertile ground for your own blossoming. This is the heart of emotional healing. It's not about getting rid of the pain. It's about changing your relationship to it. It's about bringing the light of your own compassionate attention to the dark places. When you can sit with your sadness without judging it, you are sending a root into your mud. When you can breathe with your anxiety without trying to force it away, you are drawing nourishment from your mud. You are transmuting suffering into wisdom. The energy you once used to suppress and fight your pain is now freed up to fuel your growth. This is what the great Buddhist psychologist Thich Nhat Hanh meant when he said, "No mud, no lotus." You cannot have the flower of compassion, of understanding, of deep peace, without the rich, dark, messy soil of human suffering. Your pain is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are on the verge of blooming. Your deepest wound can become the source of your greatest strength and your most profound gift to the world, just as the lotus's fragrance is a gift to the swamp. The compassion you learn by tending to your own mud is the same compassion that can heal the world. And what path leads through this transformed landscape, this garden where flowers grow from sorrow? Where does this journey of compassion take you? The story of the path that led to itself will unfold how you walk where you already stand, and how every step, no matter how faltering, is an arrival. It will show you that the destination you seek is hidden in the very ground beneath your feet. Touch your heart. Gently place a hand over the center of your chest. Breathe into that space. And now, I invite you to bring to mind some of your mud. A difficulty you are facing, a painful emotion, a feeling of being stuck. Don't dive into the story of it. Just acknowledge its presence, its texture, its weight. Now, I want you to whisper a message of kindness to it, silently, in your heart. You might say, "I see you. You are welcome here. You are a part of me, and I will not abandon you." Imagine you are sending a stream of warm, gentle, golden light from your hand into that difficult place. This light is your compassion. It is not trying to fix or change anything. It is simply holding the darkness with unconditional love. See a tiny, luminous lotus flower begin to bloom in the center of that pain, in the heart of your mud. It is your own strength, your own wisdom, your own beauty, born from your courage to face what is difficult. Carry this lotus and its soft, gentle light into your next breath. Carry it with you as you drift deeper now into peaceful, healing sleep. You are the mud, you are the water, and you are the lotus, all of it. The lotus glows, and a path appears leading where it always was. The path that led to itself. Where are you going if you are already here? The luminous image of the lotus fades, but its gentle light remains, illuminating a new scene before you. You are standing at the entrance to a forest, and before you lies a path. It is not a grand, straight road, but a simple, winding footpath. Its stones are worn smooth by the passage of countless feet, and moss grows between them. The path disappears into the deep green shadows of the trees, and it seems to lead nowhere in particular, only deeper into the heart of the present moment. This is the path that led to itself, and its story is for the seeker in you, the part that is always striving for a future destination, and in doing so, misses the magic of the step you are taking right now. There was once a wanderer who was consumed by a single, burning question. Where is the path to enlightenment? He believed it was a real, physical place, a hidden monastery, a secret mountain peak, a sacred destination at the end of the world. And he believed that if he could only find this path and follow it to its end, all his suffering would cease, and he would find everlasting peace. He packed a small bag and set off on his quest. He read ancient maps and consulted wise sages. The first sage told him the path lies to the east, beyond the great desert. So the wanderer walked for years across scorching sands, his hope a dwindling mirage on the horizon. He found ancient ruins and forgotten oases, but he did not find the end of the path. Disappointed, he met another teacher, a wise old woman who told him, "You went the wrong way. The path lies to the west, over the highest, snow-capped mountains." So the wanderer turned around and began a new journey. He climbed treacherous peaks, facing blizzards and avalanches. His body grew strong, and his will became like iron. He found breathtaking vistas and deep, silent caves, but he did not find the end of the path. He journeyed for decades. He crossed raging rivers, sailed across vast oceans, and navigated dense, trackless jungles. He met kings and beggars, saints and charlatans. He gathered stories, scars, and a deep, abiding weariness. The fire of his quest had dimmed to a faint, flickering ember. He was no closer to his destination, it seemed, than the day he had started. One afternoon, old, tired, and defeated, he collapsed at the foot of a large, ordinary-looking tree in a perfectly ordinary forest. He had no more maps, no more teachers to seek, no more energy to take another step. He had failed. The path was lost to him forever. He sat there, leaning against the rough bark of the tree, and for the first time in his life, he truly stopped seeking. He had nowhere to go, nothing to achieve. He just sat. He watched a line of ants marching purposefully over a route. He felt the gentle breeze on his weathered face. He heard the chirping of a cricket in the undergrowth. He felt the solid, dependable earth beneath him. And in that moment of complete, surrendered stillness, a soft chuckle bubbled up from deep within him. It grew into a gentle laugh, then a full, rolling, joyous belly laugh that echoed through the quiet forest. The tears that streamed down his face were not tears of sorrow, but of profound, liberating relief. All these years, he said aloud to the ants and the tree and the sky, I have been searching for the path. But the path was never lost. The path was the walking. The path was the crossing of the desert. The path was the climbing of the mountain. The path was the feeling of the hot sun and the cold snow. The path was every single step I ever took. He looked down at the simple, worn stone he was sitting on. This stone, he whispered in awe, is the sacred destination. This breath is the holy monastery. This moment, right here, is the end of the quest. He realized that the path did not lead to enlightenment. The path was enlightenment. He had been walking on it. He had been it all along. He walked to walk, and that was enough. The forest seemed to nod its great, green head in agreement, and the simple, winding path before him seemed to smile. This is the principle of presence. It is the deep, healing wisdom that the path is found not in the destination, but in each and every step. Your life is not a dress rehearsal for some future moment of peace or happiness. This moment, right now, is your life. This is it. So many of us live like the wanderer in the first part of his story. We are constantly on a quest. I will be happy when I get that promotion. I will be at peace when I finish this project. I will be able to relax when I go on vacation. I will find love when I become a better person. We are always living for a future that never quite arrives. And in doing so, we miss the sacredness of the ordinary, the magic of the now. This creates a chronic state of dissatisfaction and anxiety. It's a subtle but pervasive feeling of not yet. Your mind is always one step ahead of your body, planning, striving, worrying, and you are never fully where you are. This is the source of the feeling that life is passing you by. It is because you are not here for it. You are waiting for the real show to start, not realizing you are standing on the stage. The wanderer's laughter is the great awakening. It is the realization that you are already at the destination. Peace is not at the end of the path. It is available in the quality of attention you bring to this very step. When you are washing the dishes, the path is the feeling of the warm water on your hands. When you are talking to a loved one, the path is the sound of their voice. When you are lying here, listening to these words, the path is the sensation of your breath moving in and out of your body. This practice of presence is a powerful antidote to the modern epidemic of time scarcity and digital fatigue. Our attention is constantly being pulled into the past and future by notifications, deadlines, and the endless scroll of information. Grounding yourself in the present moment, even for a few seconds, is an act of rebellion. It is reclaiming your life from the tyranny of what's next. It quiets the anxious, planning mind and activates the parts of your brain associated with well-being and contentment. When you are fully present, you cannot be anxious, because anxiety is always about the future. When you are fully present, you cannot be regretful, because regret is always about the past. In the sanctuary of the now, there is only peace. But what lights this step you are taking, right here, on this path? If you are not guided by a future destination, what illuminates the way? The tale of the moon that borrowed light will show us how you shine with a radiance that is not your own, yet is wholly yours. It will reveal that the light for the path comes not from without, but from a deep, non-dual understanding within. Feel your feet on the earth, or if you are lying down, feel the points where your body makes contact with the surface beneath you. Imagine these are your feet standing on the wanderer's path. Take one step. You don't have to move physically. Just take one step in your mind. Feel the intention to move, the subtle shift of weight, the feeling of your foot landing firmly and gently on the ground. Where are you now? You are here. You have arrived. This single, simple step contains the entire journey. This breath is the destination. Let this moment be your path. Let this moment be your home. There is nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do. You are already there. Rest in this arrival. Rest in the profound peace of being exactly where you are. The path fades, and a moon rises, glowing with light it never owned. The moon that borrowed light. What shines in you that you call your own? The forest path dissolves into the deep, velvety black of the night sky, and hanging there, like a silent, silver jewel, is a perfect crescent moon. It casts a gentle, ethereal glow over a sleeping world, lighting a path on a dark ocean, silvering the edges of the clouds. Its light is not fierce or demanding like the sun's. It is a soft, compassionate, and mysterious light, yet it is not its own. This is the moon that borrowed light, and its story is for the part of you that separates the world into light and shadow, self and other, yours and mine. The moon, in the beginning of its time, was filled with a deep and secret sorrow. It would watch the sun traverse the sky each day, a magnificent, blazing ball of fire, pouring out its own seemingly infinite light and warmth. The sun was a creator, a source, a king. Then, as the sun would set, the moon's turn would come. It would rise into a sky that was dark and cold, and it could produce no light of its own. All it could do was catch the fading, distant rays of the sun it could no longer see, and reflect them back onto the sleeping earth. Your light is yours, and yours alone. The moon sighed to the absent sun one night, its voice a whisper of cosmic loneliness. You are a true and glorious star. I am just a pale imitation, a cold rock that borrows its glow. I have no light of my own. I am a fraud. It saw itself as lacking, as incomplete, as secondary. It saw its own beautiful, silvery light as a sign of its inadequacy. It moved through its phases in this state of quiet despair. The full moon was a time of deep shame for its borrowed brilliance. The new moon was a time of relief, a chance to hide its empty, dark face from the universe. It believed in a fundamental separation. There was the sun's light, and there was its own darkness, and the two were forever apart. One night, as it was gazing down at the earth, it heard a soft, warm voice, seemingly coming from everywhere at once. It was the voice of the sun, speaking to it across the vast, dark emptiness of space. Dear moon, the sun smiled, and the moon could feel its warmth even from so far away. You say my light is mine, but you are mistaken. My fire is fueled by the dust of ancient stars that lived and died long before me. My light is the light of the entire universe, focused for a time in this form you call sun. It does not belong to me. I am a borrower, just like you. The sun's voice continued, soft and profound. And you say your light is not your own, but look what you do with it. You take the fierce, direct light that would scorch the sleeping world, and you soften it. You transform it into a gentle, mysterious glow that inspires poets and guides lost travelers. You use it to pull the great oceans in a rhythmic, eternal dance. You give comfort to the creatures of the night. The light passes through you, and in doing so, becomes uniquely yours. Your light and my light are not two separate things. They are one light, dancing in different ways. moment, the moon's perception shifted. It looked at its own soft glow on the surface of the ocean and saw not a borrowed light, but a shared light. It looked at its own dark side, the part hidden from the sun, and saw not an emptiness, but a necessary shadow, the partner to its light. It realized that light and shadow were not enemies, but lovers. They were two sides of the same coin, inseparable, each giving the other meaning. It was not the moon or the sun. It was the moon and the sun. It was a single, unified system of giving and receiving. Its heart filled not with pride, but with a deep, quiet, and interconnected joy. It was a part of the whole. This is the principle of non-duality. It is the wisdom that the separations we perceive are illusions created by the mind. Light and shadow, good and bad, self and other, life and death, we see these as opposites, but they are intrinsically one, like the two sides of a hand. You cannot have one without the other. Your mind is conditioned to think in dualities. I am my strengths, but not my weaknesses. I like my happy feelings, but I hate my sad feelings. That person is good, and that person is bad. We live in a world of mental apartheid, constantly separating, judging, and choosing sides. This is the source of all conflict, both internal and external. We are at war with our own shadows, trying to banish the parts of ourselves we deem unworthy. We are at war with others who we perceive as separate and different from us. The moon's story is an invitation to heal this split. It asks you to see that your shadow side, your fears, your anger, your vulnerabilities, is not a mistake to be eliminated. It is the necessary other half of your light. Your vulnerability is what allows for true intimacy. Your capacity for sadness is what gives depth to your joy. Your failures are the rich soil from which your wisdom grows. To be a whole person is not to be a perfect, all-light person. It is to be like the moon, courageously embracing both your light and your darkness, knowing they are one. When you can hold your own perceived flaws with this kind of non-dual compassion, you can begin to hold others in the same way. You start to see that the other person is not so other after all. Their pain is your pain. Their joy is your joy. You are both borrowing from the same universal source of consciousness, just reflecting it in different, unique ways. This is the foundation of true empathy and peace. It's the ultimate form of letting go guided meditation, letting go of the very idea of a separate self at war with a separate world. From a psychological standpoint, this resonates with the work of Carl Jung and the concept of shadow integration. Jung taught that wholeness comes not from striving for perfection, but from integrating the rejected, unconscious parts of our psyche, our shadow. When we deny our shadow, it doesn't go away. It projects itself onto the world, and we end up fighting it in others, or it erupts in self-sabotaging behaviors. By turning to face our shadow with courage and love, as the moon learned to embrace its darkness, we reclaim the immense energy and wisdom that is locked within it. And what holds this dance of oneness? What is the vast, silent space in which the sun and moon and light and shadow all play? The parable of the emptiness that held all things will whisper to you of a presence, a space where all is born, yet nothing remains. It is the final return, the ultimate understanding of interbeing, where the observer and the observed finally merge into one. Look within. In the quiet space of your own awareness, can you sense the light that you borrow? The kindness you received from a parent, now reflected in how you treat a friend. The wisdom you learned from a book, now shining through your own words. The resilience you inherited from your ancestors, now lighting your path through a difficult time. And can you also sense your shadow, the fear you try to hide, the insecurity you cover with confidence, the old wound that still aches in the dark? Just for this moment, can you hold them both? Let the light and the shadow rest together in your heart. Don't choose one over the other. Don't judge. Just allow them to be. See that they are not two things, but one whole, complete, and beautiful you. They are one in your heart. You are the sky that holds both the moon and the sun. And in this holding, there is a profound peace, a profound wholeness. The moon wanes, and an emptiness opens, holding all that ever was. The emptiness that held all things. What is empty, yet contains all you are? The silver moon dissolves, the night sky fades, and you are left in a space that has no form, no color, no dimension. It is not darkness, it is not light. It is a profound, limitless emptiness. But it is not a cold or frightening void. It is a warm, vibrant, and welcoming emptiness. It is like the vast, clear sky on a perfect day, holding the sun, the clouds, the birds, and the breath of every living thing. Yet it asks for nothing in return. It is pure, boundless potential. This is the emptiness that held all things, and it is not a story, but a return to the very source from which all the stories have come. It is the final secret of the lantern that carries no flame. There was once a great sage, a woman who had spent her entire life seeking the ultimate truth. She had studied all the scriptures, mastered all the meditations, and debated with all the wisest masters. She had followed the path of the wanderer, bloomed like the lotus, and understood the borrowed light of the moon. Yet, she felt there was one final veil to be lifted. She sought the experience of pure emptiness, the void, the ultimate ground of being. So she went to a remote cave high in the Himalayas, a place known as the Cave of the Sky, because its opening was so wide it seemed to merge with the heavens. She vowed to sit there until she found what she was looking for. She sat on the cold stone floor, closed her eyes, and turned her attention inward, seeking to dissolve everything her thoughts, her body, her world, into the nothingness she had read about. For years she sat. She watched her thoughts arise and pass away like clouds in the sky. She felt sensations in her body come and go like ripples on a pond. She heard the sounds of the world outside the wind, the cry of an eagle, the distant rumble of an avalanche, and let them pass through her without clinging. She became as still as the mountain itself. But the emptiness she was looking for, a state separate from all this, eluded her. The more she tried to get rid of the world to find emptiness, the more present the world seemed to be. She could still feel the warmth of the sun on her face in the morning. She could still smell the rain-soaked earth after a storm. She could still feel the beating of her own heart, a steady, faithful drum. One day, in a moment of deep frustration and surrender, she finally gave up. She opened her eyes, not with the intention of seeing, but simply because she was tired of keeping them closed. And she looked. She saw the rugged, textured wall of the cave opposite her. She saw a tiny, resilient moss growing in a crack. She saw the vast, brilliant blue of the sky framed by the cave's mouth. She felt the cool air on her skin. She felt the solid ground beneath her. She felt her own breath rising and falling, a gentle tide connecting her inner world and the outer world. And in that simple, direct, non-seeking gaze, she understood. A tear of profound insight, like the monks before the mirror, traced a path through the dust on her cheek. The emptiness she had been seeking was not somewhere else. It was not a state to be achieved by negating the world. It was never empty, she whispered, and the cave itself seemed to smile. The emptiness was the cave. It was the sky. It was her own awareness. It was the space in which all things, the rock, the moss, the sky, her breath, her thoughts were appearing. Emptiness was not the absence of things. It was the boundless, loving capacity that held all things. The form of the cave was its emptiness. The emptiness of the sky was its form. They were one. She realized she was not a sage in a cave seeking emptiness. She was the emptiness of the cave itself, holding the form of the sage, the moss, and the sky. Everything was arising within her own vast, silent, and empty awareness. All things are here, she said, a quiet statement of the ultimate truth, because the emptiness that I am holds them all. She did not need to find emptiness. She only needed to recognize that she had been it all along. The cave smiled, for it was never empty. It was full of her, full of the world, full of everything. This is the principle of interbeing. It is the final, all-encompassing truth that brings all the other principles together. It is the realization that all things exist within each other. You are not just connected to the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself. The bamboo is in you. The river is in you. The stone, the leaf, the mirror, the wind, the lotus, the path, and the moon, they are not metaphors for something inside you. They are inside you. Look at your hand. The Buddhist master Thich Nhat Hanh would say, "In this hand, I see the sun. For without the sun's warmth, nothing could grow. I see the cloud, for without the rain, the plants that became my food could not live. I see the farmer who grew the food, the baker who baked the bread, and my mother and father who gave me this body. Your hand is not a separate object. It is a manifestation of the entire cosmos. It is empty of a separate self, and therefore it is full of everything. This is the ultimate healing for the ache of loneliness, for the feeling of being a small, fragile self in a vast, indifferent universe. You are not small. You are not separate. You are the whole thing. The awareness that is looking through your eyes right now is the same awareness that is looking through mine, that is looking through the eyes of every being. It is the same awareness that shines in the stars and dreams, in the deep stillness of the stone. This is the final letting go. Letting go of the idea that you are a someone who needs to get somewhere or achieve something. You can relax. You can rest. You are already home. You are the emptiness that holds all things. You are the silence in which all sound happens. You are the stillness in which all movement is born. And so we return, as all paths do, to where we began. We return to the tale of the bamboo that watched itself grow. But now you see it with new eyes. You see that the bamboo is not just watching itself. It is being watched by the emptiness that holds it. And the watcher and the watched are one. You'll see now how all endings are beginnings, and how all beginnings are you, returning to yourself again and again, with ever-deepening love and peace. Breathe deeply. One last, slow, conscious breath. As you inhale, feel that you are breathing in the entire universe, the stars, the mountains, the oceans. As you exhale, feel that you are breathing out, offering your peace back to the world. Now feel the space inside your chest, the quiet emptiness that remains after the exhale. What does it hold? It holds the memory of the bamboo's sway, the sound of the river's flow, the stillness of the stone. It holds the light of the lotus and the glow of the moon. It holds the path, and it holds you, the walker. It holds everything. Name one thing in this vast, inner space that you are grateful for. And now, let it dissolve. Let it merge back into the peaceful, silent, empty sky within you. For you are not the thing you are grateful for. You are the gratitude itself. You are the space that holds it all. There is nothing left to do now, nothing to figure out. The lantern is empty, its work is done, and in its perfect, flameless emptiness, you can finally see the soft, gentle light that has been here all along, the light of your own true nature. Let it guide you now into the deepest, most restful sleep you have had in a long, long time. Everything is okay. Everything is whole. Everything is you. The sky closes, and a bamboo sways, watching itself once more. If ever your heart feels heavy, or your mind longs for stillness, know that this place will always be here, quietly waiting for you. Zen Buddhism healing will be here, a space of rest beyond thought, a place to return to again and again. Whenever you need, you're welcome. Welcome to the peace that was always yours. Sleep now. Sleep well.